that, insurance, right doctor, what's your rehab going to look like? You wanted to have it done once and you want to have it done right,
Don't
right?
put it off.
So,
Like, get on it.
Prehab.
Your light, yeah, prehab makes the rehab even better, makes the procedure better, everything better. But don't put it off. If you're on the fence, if you're worried and nervous about it, if you're somebody that doesn't like surgery or you don't like anesthesia, look at the fact that this is the one and only life that you get. And you want to maximize it, just like you want your kids to maximize their potential and you want to live each day to its fullest.
welcome to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. I'm sitting here with my besties. You know them, Farley and Darian. I'm Jennifer. Here we're coming here talking to you about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. Not only personally have each of us had some experience in this, but we have friends, family, parents that have gone through these things called, are they elective surgeries? What is your decision on fixing something that can be fixed?
Yeah. Well, yes, that is something near and dear to my heart because always getting injured, it's just part you have to fix yourself. So recently I elected to get a knee replacement. That would be 3.5 weeks ago. And yay, golf clap. And over the years, it's been a struggle because you want to do what you want to do and you love. I want to ski. I want to surf. I want to play tennis.
Darian's active. If you haven't listened in on that since the beginning of this podcast, it comes up quite often that she does a lot of things.
Not to mention that she has a child to keep up with who is a rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle.
She's a rockadoodle.
Well, she's going to pass me skiing in no time. But so basically I've been skiing on my right leg and surfing on the wrong foot, and you're always compromising your body for years, but it just becomes natural. It becomes just your way of life. And I had a little accident, like just a little tweak in the woods about a month ago. And I said, you know what? It's time. I am electing to go get a knee replacement. And it kind of went down like this. It was, crashed, can't ski anymore for a couple of weeks. I think I tore my meniscus, but you just kind of ride it out. Went and saw my knee doctor, Dr. Stephen Nicholas, who has put all of us in our family together about 13 times.
Yeah.
Him and Franny Flum. But I went into him with my MRI and I was in Vermont and I said, here's cash for an MRI. I don't care. I just need a script. Because of course you can read your own MRIs and you know what you did. And I walked into Dr. Nicholas and it was a Tuesday, St. Anthony Day. And I said, what do you think? He goes, well, for years I've told you you're not ready, but you're ready now. And I'm like, for a knee replacement. And I said, all right, when can you do it? He goes, next Friday.
You don't have to be ancient to get a knee replacement or a shoulder replacement or whatever needs replacing. It's not, don't fix it if it ain't broke. If it's broke, you should try to fix it so that you can continue to enjoy your life and resume where you left off. Don't put it off.
Yeah, no. And you have to get edged. And the other thing we'll come back to, you can get it done at any age. So I have a parent who's had knees, hips, like all done. And I've had a child who's had both shoulders done. So, and you have to figure out, like, to Darian's point about what her doctor said, like when you're ready and when the right time is. And for some people, that's when they're, 15 during a global pandemic, you're going to elect to have double shoulder surgery because you learn through the process a lot about what your body you've been given with your body. So my son, I quickly surmised that he had basically the hip dysplasia that they check when you have a baby. They check to make sure that the legs move properly and they don't like pop out, which is more common. My son basically had two shoulders that are just very open. So as soon as he would hyperextend or externally rotate his arm back, it would just pop out. He popped it out multiple times, was doing multiple injuries, and we endured a double shoulder surgery during COVID. And it was not the first, it was not my first choice. I am a believer, which it sounds again like Darian's doctor, where surgery is like a last resort. Like, I'm a yoga person. Again, for you guys who've been listening, like there's a lot of things you can do, rehab, PT, lots of things that you want to do before you I believe you cut into the human body.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Stretch. Wait, who does that?
We need to stretch.
We need to stretch.
Yoga,
Yes, I know.
yoga. But my point is that it got to a point where I was like, okay, you get when there is no other option and it affects your quality of life and your ability to do the things you love, ski, play football, play lacrosse for my son. It you do get to a point where you realize like you've given all these amazing doctors and tools, and why not use the technology?
You heal better younger. Okay. So if you're putting off your knee, your hip until you're 65 or you're 70 because you still want to play tennis, if you do it earlier than you actually need it done, you're going to recover faster and you're going to be a better patient overall. And that's what I'm realizing. No one likes to have surgery. I've blown out my ACL 3 times now. It was not fun blowing out my ACL at 52 years old. But I'm not going to let life pass me by in the fast lane and be gimping over in the slow lane. I want to do everything that I should still be able to do. And a lot of people look at me and they're like, you're still going to play paddle? You're still going to ski? You're still going to play tennis?
Isn't that the point?
But that was the best thing is that, so I go to my knee doctor. So I have kind of a giant list of them, and everything's always run through my mom's best friend, Dr. Franny Flum, who's put me together when I was ski racing. I think I had 2 file cabinets worth of surgeries. I would call him from the US Open and be like, I think I tweaked something. He said, can you ski? Just don't do a training run. Go to the race run, 6 Advil tonight, 6 Advil in the morning, come home for surgery. Hopefully you bring a medal. I mean, this is the mentality. So over the years, it's you know your body, and I would do anything to not get surgery. I would get PRP, which is they draw blood from your body, they spin it, and they put it in this needle, and it's a plasma-rich platelets, and they inject it back into your knee. You do orthovisc. It's like the Tin Man who goes and he gets oil, and all of a sudden he can move and he can dance. So I did that every 6 months. And it's this whole graduation of you start with Synvisc to orthovisc to PRP. Then I was researching, hey, I'm going to go to Peru. I'm going to go to Germany, and I'm going to get stem cell treatment. And it just went on, and you put all this money, expensive Band-Aids. And in the long run, it's like, no, the reality is you are bone on bone. There is nothing there. You're throwing off your hips, your backs, and you don't want the surgery. Well, I'm at a ski race with Didi this winter, and I looked at one of my friends. She goes, oh, and she's rocking it down a bump run. Like, Christine, I thought you were hurt. Just had my 2nd knee replacement. It's the best thing I ever did. So now it's in my head. So when I see Nicholas, he's like, I'll do it next week. I thought, ooh, that's really good timing. Because then he said,
I'll be better for surf
I'll be
season.
better for surf season. He said 3 months. Far, you have like ACLs, and that's
9 months.
9 months.
Terrible.
3 months. He said, I will be
That's incredible.
surfing and paddling. And he said, you can catch air, you can ski steeps, and you can ski powder.
Tell everybody what also happens if like a little screw or there's like a little issue with your brand new bionic knee. What happens?
Oh, it's like, and it alerts the manufacturer and they say, your knee is coming loose.
Stop.
I mean, and that's why you wait. And that's the whole thing of, yes, I'm going to
wait for technology to catch up.
Technology
absolutely.
to catch up.
If
And
you don't need it, don't do it. We're not saying like run to the elective surgery, obviously, but the longer you wait, the better it's going to get. I mean, Kyle's 2 shoulders, technology changed within the 6 months that he had the one and the second time. And then when we went back, because he still has issues, it's even changed since then. So it's constantly evolving.
And also, do not get hung up on designer doctors. I went the designer doctor route. I went to HSS. I had Dr. Russell Warren, who was the doctor for the Giants and for everybody in the whole world. He was a bit of a fossil when I went to him. So had he done that procedure countless amounts of times? Absolutely. But was he up to par on what was cutting edge and trending now? I don't think so, because he should not have given me a cadaver graft. He looked at me and he's like, you're not playing professional volleyball. You are like a weekend warrior. He's like, I believe that you do everything like full tilt. And he's like, but a cadaver of somebody that was young, that didn't die in an impactful way where there was like fear. I mean, there's like this whole theory of how to get, the best cadaver, graft. And he told me that they had a match. You kind of are waiting on standby until they find the match. And he said it's a faster recovery. And I ended up blowing out my freaking ACL 18 months to the day with my custom brace on.
That's, you know what? It's
my
crazy.
Brace on.
So here we go. I'm at physical therapy. And when you get elective surgery, the one thing is that I went to my physical therapist, returned to sports. Matt is he's next level, so knowledgeable. He looked at me, he said, it's going to be painful and I'm there for you. And Steven, who works for him as well, those two said, hey, we got you. And it gave me kind of confidence to go, all right, I'm going into this because I just decided 5 days ago, I'm going to go for a knee replacement in 3 more days. And so I'm there at PT and he's
how she jumps off cliffs. That's how
trying to bend my leg. He's like, you got it. I'm like, yeah, it's great bending something that doesn't want to do. And here I said, what's up? How's your daughter? He goes, she blew her ACL out again with her brace on. As you say this, Farley. So went to the doctor here. They love him. He's a great doctor. Poor thing is a sophomore in high school. So freshman year, she's on the soccer team, blows her ACL out, all better. Finally is like confident. She was playing soccer with my niece and she's training on the turf. And the other day makes a turn with her brace on and blew her ACL out. So for me, I look at her and I just like, I feel it because it's that road of, okay, you get your injury. It's the reality that this is going to be a bad injury.
How about my child blowing out her ACL the 3rd game of her senior season playing college lacrosse? Her 3rd game. That was devastating. And it's an epidemic. It's happening to women much more often than it happens to men. There was a theory at one point that it was, linked to that time of the month, menstruation. It's been disproved. They say that our hips are pronated forward a little bit more for childbearing, and that makes us more susceptible to knee injuries. So I believe that. The second time I had the procedure, I ended up doing a patellograft, which I totally recommend to the world out there. The third time, which was just, I just had surgery and got cleared this past November, I did a quadrigraph. So that apparently is a similar tendon to your patellograft. It's a little bit easier of a procedure, but it's a very hardy tendon. And I'll tell you, that was my best one yet. Now, Dr. Nicholas, who has also done several surgeries on Darian, he did
did both my mom's knees at once.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. And me and Jeff's shoulders.
And Jeff's shoulders. No one would go near him. He's like, I got it. He did seven shoulder surgeries.
I can't believe this doctor has all the specialties of all these joints.
He's good. So you know what? He has a morgue that's right next to him. And he says, when he does, there's a morgue right next to his office. And he goes down with some of his doctor friends. He was saying, yeah, we go and we get bones and we figure out new ways for them to move and groove and what we could drill into. I'm like, you're my guy. But going back to when you said, as far as women and hips, what Matt was saying about his daughter, he said the way that her hips, I think they're I don't know, maybe she pronates a little bit. They're more open. That one idea was to go have this special hip surgery that straightens out your gait. And that would maybe help her, her knees get better. I'm like, no, don't. That's an elective surgery you don't want to go do.
Interesting though.
It's too much. Like your body is made the way it's
there
made.
Are ACL families.
That's crazy.
It's genetics. I look at me and, I was hoping that all 3 of mine would be one for each one of my girls. It's a genetic situation. I look at Liz O'Connor, another dear friend of mine who had a daughter that blew out her ACL playing in her senior soccer championship of her high school career before she was going off to Virginia Tech to play. Then Kitty Cat, her younger daughter, did it. It's a family thing. When you meet another ACL family and you've got 2 or 3 family members that have had to unfortunately suck it up and get their ACLs done.
Well, Matt said
genetics.
He did the same thing in college. It happened exactly like he did his daughter. And
There is one
Yeah.
thing I will say. Okay. So, as crushing as it is, like back in the day, I think I probably said if I had blown out my ACL before I went off to play volleyball in college, they would have dropped me. My
They
my my
dropped me.
scholarship would have been Gonzo Alonso.
I know.
The way it is now, all the college coaches
different.
that I talk to are like, you know what? If a kid gets injured before they get into college, the likelihood of them getting re-injured during college is a very small stat. They also learn how to rehab. So PT makes you tough. You know, you've got to like push past the pain and you actually have to really want it to return. And it's gritty, you know? So I think now these college coaches are like, hey, you know, if she or he has an injury prior to their college career, if they're playing at the next level, they actually are fine with it, which is pretty incredible.
Well, they also recognize that like a lot of your D1 like if you have a D1 athlete or an athlete that's super like committed, it's a formula to get you back. Like if you do X, Y, and Z the right way to rehab, you will come back better, stronger, faster. And if you still want it after going through that injury, that's the kid I want to put on the field. Right. Like you to your point, you have a grittiness about you because you've been through a tremendous adversity to get back to being somebody who could be competing against somebody who didn't have that adversity. So, like having gone through that, now that they will look at you in a different way because they can rehab you. I mean, I had a friend of mine whose daughter broke her leg by getting kicked by a horse, right? And they don't cast you. They don't put a cast on you. Why would I put a cast on the outside of my leg? That's what they used to do not that long ago. Now they put a metal bar inside to support the bone. Duh, makes so much more sense. And her quality of life was so much better. She wasn't like lugging around this heavy external piece of equipment to and it's a whole other universe of medical technology. Biomedical engineering is a crazy emerging technology, and they're using it to basically make bionic humans, which is also going to be very interesting to see what happens when you get to a point where you're going to have people, because this is how humans work. Elective surgeries are exactly that. I can do anything I want to make myself better, faster, stronger. Like what's going to happen at some point when people decide to have elective
That's
surgery?
the person that's doing the hips.
That's
Right.
me right now. But think about it. Remember the days back in the city, when I had my tibia plateau, and I had this giant brace. It went over my whole. Everything happened on my left side, by the way. Big red brace. My whole leg was straight. Like, yeah, Far, let's go out. Because I would always go out. So what would I do? I'd put a drink holder on my crutches, or I'd put a drink holder on my walker.
Stickers.
And we would go to a club called Chaos.
Yeah.
And there were 135 stairs straight up that I would crutch with Farley. Boom, boom, boom. Crutch up, crutch back down, crutch up, crutch back down. And you just adapt. I mean, nowadays they probably wouldn't have me in that giant race. And
It's also probably ADA compliant, so there's probably an elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not allowed to do that to people anymore.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
There probably was a sneaky elevator there.
I was probably in heels too.
Sure you were.
I mean, honestly.
Just one though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, I look at our bodies. I mean, I've had a discectomy too from skiing with Dare. We're out in Squaw, and I decided to snowboard for the day, and I just landed perfectly at the end of the day on my back, and I limped around for a year with crazy nerve pain. Did not know what was going on. I was told that I had a fracture, but that my body was young enough to reabsorb the fracture. So I was doing everything I could to not have surgery till I woke up one day with flop foot. And then it was like, oh my God, you have to go to the hospital. Like, this is an emergency procedure because your nerves could be permanently damaged. You could be dragging your foot around for the rest of your life. So I ended up going and getting a discectomy. And immediately I was in no pain. As soon as I could wake up, I threw up because of the morphine, but I got up and I walked to the bathroom and I had no pain in my leg. I had like radiating pain to the point where I couldn't even get comfortable laying down, sitting. I couldn't be comfortable unless I was like walking. It was the only time that I could kind of be out of pain was like standing. It was so awful. But, you know, was it elective? Not really. My foot was flopping.
Yeah.
My hysterectomy, was it elective? I don't know. My uterus was falling out. Like
You
there's
might
some
want to
things,
put that back in.
Yeah.
You might want to stuff that back up there.
I mean, like no one talks about some of these things that are considered to be elective. Well, yeah, I elected to get a normal life quality again.
Sure.
So elective, that's what it means to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Tennis elbow. How many times I remember first date with Jeff. It's great. We talk about sports. A second date. Oh, let's go work out at this club. I'm like, sure, let's go. And he has this what's the strap, the yellow straps that they use? That every TRX.
TRX.
And he's like, you could tell that gym rat.
It's okay.
He's like, okay, just go and pull. I'm like, okay, great. And I pull it and I'm like, gunk, and I feel like my elbow pop, but I definitely wouldn't say anything. And so I dealt with this tennis elbow thing, getting shots in it for, I don't know, a year and a half. See, you made me do TRX, whatever that workout thing is you guys do. I want to stick
tennis
to
elbow
being
is
out.
real.
Yeah, it's real. And I hated it.
That was bursitis, which Pat gets, and it's just crazy. He's like, "What the hell is this thing?"
Yeah,
It's like this big bulb,
and
that he has to get trained.
and it's that one little, like just that one little part of the corner of your elbow that just radiates. And one day I said, you know what? I'm just going in for surgery. So, and now it's reminded me. So I went local. First time I ever went local in New Jersey to surgery. All right, I'm going to go to this doctor. I called him Dr. Slash. Went in. He said, oh, you should wear this tennis brace. You're going to have to wear that. And I don't know how much longer you'll play tennis. I'm looking at him. What are you talking about? Now is when I'm playing tennis because I never wanted to play it before. Does the surgery. He's like, well, I go back 2 weeks later. I said, I still feel it. He goes, well, you wear your tennis elbow brace. I'm like, I just did this surgery.
I just fixed it.
So I'm really pissed off because now it hurts and it put me out, lost a summer. So I go to see Dr. Nicholas and go in, take an MRI. He goes, looks out and goes, so you like good wine, don't you? I said, I love good wine. He goes, you like to eat at really good restaurants, don't you? I said, yeah. He goes, you just had your surgery done at McDonald's. He goes, I have to go in and redo the entire surgery. It's all balled up down here in a bunch. And where you thought you'd be back on the road and paddling in 3 months, it's going to be about 7. And I looked at him, I was like, can I still go get the good wine and dinner after this? And he started laughing, but he had to go in and fix
You have
it.
to do research.
Yeah, you do.
have to.
Got
You don't. It doesn't have to be a designer brand necessarily because there are plenty of
Multiple opinions.
Yes, multiple opinions matter. Whoever's doing the procedure the most, whoever has, like
Some youth. You want I feel like you
up to
want to
date
find
on
like a
current-
mid doctor.
No, but for me, getting this hip knee replacement, I actually went and saw 3 doctors in a very short time period.
Yeah.
I went and saw my normal knee doctor, and he goes, I can't do any more shots. I could give you shots and we could ride it out, but I think you flipped your meniscus. But we could do what we've been doing the last 5 years. Then I called Franny and I said, Franny, what do I do? He goes, oh my gosh. He said, you need a knee replacement. And I looked, I'm like, wait, what? Then I saw another doctor who was great practice, though, down in New Jersey, University Orthopedics. Super nice doctor. And went and saw him. Yeah, you're not going to be able to really ski hard. You don't want to get hit. I wouldn't really go ski bumps. And I could do the surgery in late summer. Like, thank you. X. Everything he said was like, And
go with your
Dr.
gut.
Nicholas,
Go with your gut.
great. You can airtime and I'll do it next week. But
Ouch. Oh boy.
but no, whatever
But you
whatever
can't-
the cost was, he was,
Priceless when it's your body and it's the quality of your life.
and that was the thing. It's like, okay, do you trust someone? So, and I had this talk. I said, all right, well, it's out of pocket because it's the first time I changed my insurance to only having it in New Jersey, which I don't know why, but I could go for $100 surgery, get it done in late summer, do a little prehab, feel groovy, lose a whole season, not ski bumps, and try not to get hit by a skier. Or you go with someone who it doesn't matter. I remember asking you, Far, like, what do I do? You said, there's doctors here. And I said, but in my heart, I go in, I'm confident with them.
Totally.
And you roll in.
And he's done you before.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You didn't
He's
even.
done all of us before.
We were high-fiving before surgery. It wasn't like, this is what we're going to do today. The only thing I texted him was, hey, what kind of knee am I getting? He's like, it's a Zimmerman. I said, okay, that's the good one that Franny said I should get. He said, it's for all athletes. You can moving around. And that was it. But it's trusting your doctor, trusting the system. And yes, I'm not going to spend another 6, 8 months or a year putting a really big, expensive Band-Aid on something that really needs to be done. So I elected to get it done. Super happy. My physical therapists are kicking my ass.
She's ahead of the curve. Shocker.
Yeah.
But you got to do that's the other part. You have to do the work, right? You have to do the research ahead of time. You got to do your due diligence. Yeah, actually, for a lot of people, we haven't even talked about it. Like, if you do need to like figure out the insurance piece, because there's not a lot. There's a lot of people that can't just write a check.
So I don't know what it was,
or whatever it was, or a couple $1,000s. Like, there's certain people like you have to figure that out. Thumbs up. I'm not sure. That insurance, right doctor, what's your rehab going to look like? You wanted to have it done once, and you want to have it done right.
Don't put it off.
So
like, get on it.
Prehab.
Prehab makes the rehab even better, makes the procedure better, everything better. But don't put it off. If you're on the fence, if you're worried and nervous about it, if you're somebody that doesn't like surgery or you don't like anesthesia, look at the fact that this is the one and only life that you get. And you want to maximize it, just like you want your kids to maximize their potential and you want to live each day to its fullest. This will allow you to do that. You have to go backwards before you can go forwards. But when you're on the other side, there's nothing better. And people look at me every time I'm out on the tennis court or doing anything physical, and they're like, I cannot believe that you just got back from ACL surgery. Like, that you just got done rehabbing. And I'm
Your
like,
third one.
Well,
my third one.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I will say, because we did have a friend who died on the operating table with elective knee surgery, just as little. He does live in Canada, different health system, whatever you want to say about that. That's a whole other episode. But what I will say is that you do need to be in tune with like your pre-existing, like, get yourself healthy before you decide to embark on any surgery. Make sure you take care of yourself. And obviously Darian's an elite athlete, and she was somebody who's able to quickly, but if you've got some weight to lose, if you need to make sure you've got your blood pressure in check, make sure you know what you're doing before you hop on the table, because there are risks in everything and anything.
True.
So I do want to say to a listening audience, like, yes, get it done, live your life, all that stuff, but be smart.
No, be smart.
Be smart about it. My mother, when she had her knee done the first time, she rushed it because she just wanted to get it done and she didn't want to listen to me and blah, blah, blah. And they put in the wrong size knee. They put in the wrong size knee. So she was in pain and agony. And every time she went back to her doctor, the doctor was like, oh, it's just going to take some time, blah, 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 blah. And I told her she needed to go see somebody else. I was like, he's not going to tell you what you want to hear. Go talk to somebody else. They were like, yeah, that wasn't the right size knee for the size body you're in. So again, live your life every moment, but be smart and don't rush the process. I would say don't rush the process. And
no, because it's a long process. Well, my dad died from getting a knee replacement. So needless to say, over the last couple of years, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to ride that out as long as possible. And got sepsis. He went to, doctor, I won't say his name, in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, why didn't you just go to New York and get it done to our doctor? And there's great doctors here in New Jersey. You just have to find them. It's you're comfortable with whoever, but yeah, the way that it took down my dad, who was raced cars, raced dirt bikes, raced sailboats, and that was his time though. But other than that, you really have to do research. Now, I've been thinking about, in the back of my mind, okay, what if? So this wasn't just jumping into it. It happened to be the time. But for people out there, find your doctor, find what's good in your insurance plan. Find a great physical therapist. You have to eat healthy.
Talk to other people that have had the same
1000%.
procedure.
And I've talked to a ton. It's funny because the day I got home, looking at Instagram, I'm using my CPM machine. All of a sudden I look and I see two of my friends that were in the world of skiing when I was there, Matt Reardon. It was this whole thing of finally got it done, got my ankle replaced. So I'm looking going, oh, wow, I guess this is the era that we're in. It was baby era. Now I have a bunch of friends that all are on their replacements that push their bodies to the limit. And what do they all say? What is their common story? I wish I didn't wait so long.
Right.
So you'll know when it's time. And that's over the last 20 years of going to my orthos. And then the last 10 years of you kind of do what it takes to make it work so you don't have to get an artificial leg, because once you do, or an artificial knee, you do have to adjust what you do. But when you're ready, they always said, you'll know, and you'll walk in and say, it's time.
Right. It's when I feel like it's when either the pain threshold gets to a point, like what happened with Farley, or it's a quality of life, right? It's like those two things when it gets to a point where you're like, I'm in so much pain that there's no other option, right? And it's affecting my quality of life, or you can't do the things that you want to do because that like give you life. Like then you know it's time. But like to just, be like, oh, I think like that's going to make my life a little bit easier if you haven't done steps A through X, before you get to Y and Z to me, which is surgery, right?
Right.
Like try and do everything else first, but once you're at a point, don't delay. To Farley's point, you're never too young. And we're seeing a lot of young kids. Like I said, my son, her daughter, they're needing these surgeries for, family genetics, anatomical, inequities that happen on the right and left side, all these things. And do your due diligence and find a great doctor and go live your life and have a great day.
And my niece Lily, Lily had her ankle surgery. She was going to go to Jacksonville with Mackenzie, hurt her ankle, and all of a sudden it was like, do I get surgery? Do I not? I said, Lil, you can't put it off. You are going in as a freshman, as a D1 soccer player with a scholarship. You have to fix it. I don't want a red shirt. I don't want to, sit out. So you go, you get it strong, you get the surgery. You are ahead of your time.
Red shirt paid for her master's, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, once again, if you have athletes that are going to the next level and they have a setback, a red shirt, it might not be fun to be on the sidelines, but if you are working with your team and there's, an award of some type financially, it works out in the end. So that's what I said to Mackenzie. I said, you know what? This is going to end up doing something wonderful that we can't put our finger on right now. And it did pay for her master's. And she also became a captain her 5th year. And she learned a leadership. She was like the leader of all the misfit toys, everybody that was injured on the team. And her attitude and the way she presented herself changed, it really changed who she is. So in adversity, you do come out prevailing in different directions. And she raised the bar huge for the next group of people that are going to be injured. So, you can look at it like it's the worst thing ever, but it also can kind of be a defining moment, and you walk away a changed person for the better in a lot of ways.
You gain some humility too, right? You're like, you're not the superstar. You're on the sidelines. It's not fun to be on the sidelines. And like I said, you're hoping to get back out there strong.
Lily got a red shirt. So,
you got a red shirt.
She's got an extra year of school, and I'm sure that will be paid for, or at least.
Well, she thought about nursing, so that would be tremendous to have an extra year. And she went in, she trained hard. I mean, they go to school July 31st. She was there and was doing PT, and then really was training with the team. But there were a handful of other athletes that were injured. So colleges aren't, like you said,
they didn't have a great season. They didn't have a great coach. They just got a new coach. Sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it's so that a different scenario emerges. And now she's teed up for success. They've got a new coach. They already beat University of Florida.
They went in a big game in the spring. She goes and plays, and they beat them.
Yeah.
And she was a huge part of why they beat them.
So if you're injured, stay positive is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because a positive attitude helps you heal faster. And it also helps you find a silver lining in, a crappy moment.
Yeah. And you will go through, I'll just give you the textbook stages of Mom, I hurt myself when. The most amount of stress and anxiety you get is from the time you get injured until you get your MRI, your CAT scan, your x-rays, to your radiologist reads it and your doctor goes, yes, well, you just blew out your knee, ACL. Oh, what's next? So then you need surgery. Then you relive it. Why did I do it? I should have went right. Then you relive it. And then you get really down and you're sad and you cry.
The scared of the unknown. You're afraid of the unknown.
You don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden you get the surgery. Then all of a sudden, all right,
You're on the other side.
I'm on the other
There's
side.
hope. There's hope again.
There's hope. And then you'll do PT, then you plateau and you get down. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and you're rocking and rolling, dancing, grabbing your.
And you do not lean on opioids for more than the first, I don't know, 72 hours after surgery.
2 days. That's it, max.
I mean,
try to keep your kids off them as much as possible. There's if you don't know what the receptors
you don't know who has
like,
an addictive
you don't know
personality.
the receptors like. I never let my kids use them. We filled a small prescription and we always did the alternate of Advil, Tylenol, like the bumped up version, and they didn't need it, and I was happy to have them not need it. So that's
and if you need it,
again, that's
not
a last
problem.
that's it. Again, that's a last resort. Like just the pain meds are
they have to be managed.
They have to be
really micromanaged.
They take your time of healing, they add time onto it because it really is really bad for you. I don't take them. Remember having a halo on. My mom's like, have some more Tylenol. I'm like, okay. You want to feel the pain. You want to know what's wrong. If you do have a surgery that something is wrong, it's good to feel your body, but opioids are the worst, and they make you barf, and then you got to come off them, and
they make they make you constipated.
And you have to. And this is a little research. This is a little research you can do on at home. The way that the opioids work are in the brain. So the way that the pain receptors are the brain. So you're messing with the brain, which human beings don't understand the brain enough anyway. Then you have inflammation. That's Advil and Tylenol. For the record, when I was at HSS, I actually asked the doctors about Tylenol. And please, somebody can fact check me on this. But when I did this back in 2020 and 21, they still do not know how Tylenol actually works. It's a like modern medicine miracle that they really are completely baffled as to why. And they said to me when I was at HSS, they said that if you tried to get that drug approved now, it wouldn't be approved.
It does nothing.
Depends on the person.
God, I take it and I'm like,
it depends on the person.
Why even
Tylenol cold and flu works for me, but regular Tylenol does nothing.
It's a joke.
It's like,
you're like, forget it.
It's better for me.
Hey, listen, maybe it's a placebo for people. Who the hell knows? But that's what they said. They don't know how Tylenol works.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's pretty interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
They always, here you go, take some Tylenol. I'm like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
We're going to be
and then the other thing I will say with the rehab that this is the other thing. There are things that your insurance company, or you'll be like, oh, I'm not really sure if I need that. One thing that we did, and I know Farley did, I don't know, Darian, if you did, but was the Game Ready, the ice machine.
Oh, it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Like simple, easy. I swear with Kyle, it kept him from needing the opioids. It was like he was at the Game Ready, and I think it cost us $300 after you're going through all that. It's worth every single penny.
Yep.
So for anybody out there who is contemplating any kind of joint surgery, mandatory. Be game ready.
Be game ready. And we are game ready.
We are always game ready and with Girls Gone Gritty. And we're so excited that you tuned in to us today to talk about this important aspect of what becomes life as we age and as we are gritty human beings doing what we love and going at it hard with every ounce of our being. And I'm so thankful for you guys tuning in to listen to us again this week. Darian, I think it was a really fun episode. How do you feel?
Super fun. Did it just date us? I mean, we used to talk about like hot dudes
it's fun on
and
the other side, being on the other side of the surgeries.
No, it is. It's good to be on the other side. I'm pretty psyched.
I think it's fun because I feel like we were educating a lot of people today. I feel like it's a good
fun topic.
Not a fun
when
topic.
Blown them out 3 times, but fun to be on the other side. Yes.
It's a
well, I think it's fun giving people hope. Because like I said, like back in the day, there was no option. They would take your leg off if you broke your leg. So
or you would die like my dad. Sad. But no, I'm just kidding.
Terrible. We're not going to end like that.
Now.
No. It was his time to go. It was his time to go. But no, you can't. He older, 2 different circumstances. I am on the way. I'm healing. My PT, they're bending me, they're moving me in ways I just don't want to go, but it's working. And I am so excited to actually get on the hill. And we were in recovery, and Jeff goes, so where's our trip? I said, I want to go surfing with my friends Sandra and James. I want to go surf big waves, and I want to go to Alaska and go skiing with my peeps. So
goals.
Those are my goals.
There we go.
And I'm doing it and sharing with you because That's what we do.
That's
we
what
love
we
you
do.
guys. Girls Gone Gritty. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, you can always go to our website, girlsgonegritty.com. You could go to Instagram, Facebook. We're all rocking different hats. Feel free to go buy some merch.
Merch.
Love the merch.
And put the grrr in grit in everything you do.
Peace out.
Peace out.